Dear viewers across the world, most welcome to my channel NAGA WORLD CONFLICT ZONE. Context: Israel-Palestine conflict vs media performance. It recently happened conflict between Hamas and Israel, where a lot of peoples have been died between conflict. But question is that media is doing what? There is a city, Sheikh Jarrah, which is situated surrounding the Alaska Mosque and Temple Mount. Here a lot of Jews are living, and only one-third peoples are Palestinians or Muslim. But there Israelis are trying to evict them anyway. Especially what happened in Sheikh Jarrah. There are 4 families were living there in peacefully, side by side with Jewish people. But the court has given order to evict them. The media also demand that the eviction order from the court was ruled only for the favor of Jewish settler, because these 4 family will be evicted from there and new settler will be set up there. This is their target. But this sensitive place where Muslims are living surrounding the Alaska Mosque, and this distance is very small. But question is then, other Muslims families are doing what? These 4 families are surrounded by other Jewish people. Only 4 families are oldest, around 1948 year, when Israel established, that means became independent. Before then, these 4 families are living this area, but others family had been evicted anyway. Now they are trying to evict any Muslim family from there, because Judaism is their main target around the Alaska Mosque and Temple Mount. But so Judaism is the main target for Israel, and eviction of Palestine is the natural the system now in case of Israel. Every year, a lot of Palestinians are removed from this area. Not only this, but also now whole Israel is responsible for this. And nowadays new settlers are settling there. Day by day the number of these settlers are increasing. Every month average 400 settler families are settling in Israel from across the world. The conflict between Israel and the Palestinians, this is not a new, but few months ago what happened in Israel, this is unprecedented, because Sheikh Jarrah is the city where peacefully Israeli and Palestinians are living for a long time. Now these cities are a new example. There a chaos are always happening there since the beginning, the conflict between Palestinians and Israel. Now Palestinians are very angry upon the Israeli government, because day by day they are pressing and they are oppressing the Palestinians by evicting from their home, demolishing their home. And not only this, but the Palestinians and Muslim who are living in Israel, they are like a second class citizen, and their discrimination is increasing day by day. that is the main cause for Israel. Israel is trying to evict them forever and increase the number of settlers from across the world. And this is their main target. But in Zarra is a place where conflict always is nowadays is a simple matter. This is happening because the Benjamin Netanyahu government was far right and more favorable for Jews. Although Israel demand that secularism country, but really not. It is apartheid countries and worldwide it is familiar. Now media role is happening what? Media role is very silent and discriminatory. One example is that martyr and resistance and Alaska Morse, these three words are restricted in the Twitter, Facebook and other social media, because this blocking happened. Not only this but also others journalists who are using the Facebook and Twitter blocked their channel because they flare up so much high in the world that world peoples are always supporting Palestinians but not Israeli. That is why this flare up stopping intention that they are blocking the martyr resistance and Al-Aqsa Mosque. These three words are very popular in Facebook and Twitter. So social media are now blocking this. So condemned the Facebook authority, Twitter authority and also other social media authorities. In America also some vital personnel or even congressmen also condemned behind these activities, because Palestinians are always trying to self-defense. But in this case, the media are not performing their activities because they are more favorable to Israel. And most of the media giants are favorable to Zionism. And that is the main cause. And Facebook and Twitter authorities are totally responsible for this. Not only this conflict between Israel and Palestine, also George Floyd when died 2020 May, then social media was so much high alert. And that is why George Floyd's case was running so fast and already result came out. And that is the question in case of Palestinians, especially for Hamas, why some social media are doing their activities as like this. So this is the questions in the world now. But what is happening in the world? The authority of the Facebook and Twitter always favorable to Israel. That is why many things are happening inside Israel against the Palestinians or Muslims. But these are not disclosing in the outside media. So media is perform in favor of Israel. Not only this, but also in some cases, some media report they are removing from the social media or in Twitter or from YouTube. So these occurrences are happening day by day. The number of these incidents are increasing. Not only this, but also from Google, the map of Palestinians are removed. But in this incident, some employee of the Google, Apple and Twitter, they complain against the authority that why these media are taking part to the Israel. So is there any solution? No solution, because maximum media superstars belong to Israel, either Israel or they are Jews.